Hi there, welcome to another episode of Dev to Dev. Joining me this week are Henry and Mike. Thanks for joining me.
Hi.
Yeah, nice. So if you'd like to start off by telling a little bit about where you're currently on the course, and then maybe what sort of inspired you to come into Northcoders.
Want to go first? Sure, yeah. Well, we're both exactly halfway through the course today, so we're 6 weeks in. We've finished the back-end section of the course, which is more or less. So you start with the first 2 weeks on core, which is all the fundamentals, lots of abstract concepts and a bit of maths, but not, don't get worried. And then you go on to back end, which is working out how to run a little server and deal with all the data in the background, which eventually you'll use for front end, which we're starting now, which is how you display things nicely and make things look good in a browser and stuff. But we have no idea how to do that yet.
And we got our first taste of what it's going to be like at the very end last Friday, because the graduates, the first people to finish the developer pathway, did their project presentations, which was it was great. They were great projects that they created. It was very impressive, and just to give you an idea of like the links that Northcoders has with the hiring partners, I was told there was 9 representatives from 9 different companies watching the project presentations, which is like, wow, that shows that there really is people out there interested in hiring devs,
Yeah, I think
which makes you comfortable and confident that you're going to get a job after this. So.
One of them offered to hire all 4 of the people making the presentation afterwards.
Immediately, yeah. And the pace of this course is sets you up pretty nicely, doesn't it? I think it's not slow. So once you get into the working world and an industry that's moving that fast, I think they really are preparing you for that, which is just by the sheer pace of the course,
Yeah. No, it really does. So sort of talking about obviously where you're going to be after the course. Let's now change to a little bit where you were before. So what got you both interested in coding, and how did you hear about Northcoders? Do you want to go first, Henry?
Sure, yeah. When I was about 13, my dad had like a Scion personal computer, which was a really old thing, but it had its own little programming language on there, and I learned how to make a simple animation of a UFO moving across the screen and then zapping a little man, and then I thought that was really cool. But I learned a bit more coding at that age, but I made a decision that I didn't want to be a computer programmer. I remember really clearly making that decision because I thought I'd just be like a really geeky person sitting in front of a computer who never went outside and worked in an office with no windows for the next 40 years. And I didn't want to do that. And it took me like 15 years of going to do other stuff. And I was a musician for a while. I worked in a homeless hostel. I moved around, did all sorts. And then I suddenly you start to see all the stuff that's happening in the tech industry, and you see people working in like wicked open plan offices, and you just think like, this is not the thing that I didn't want to be part of. This looks really interesting. And then I just started looking at a bit of HTML and JavaScript. I thought that looks cool, and I just started researching it. And so I did learn HTML when I was 15, 16 a little bit. I could make a basic website, but I remember looking at JavaScript and thinking, this looks complicated. I don't know what that is. I don't know what these curly brackets are. I don't know what these other brackets are. I don't know what these words mean. And I can still remember what that looked like. And now I understand what it means. You start to feel quite sort of powerful, and it's like, it's an amazing experience really, learning how to do something that you once thought was very intimidating, but it can be done. You just have to get started.
Completely. Similar story for you?
It's very similar. Not quite the same, but similar backgrounds. I discovered it in uni, and I just found it really fascinating. And I wasn't really that into tech before that, but I found it really it really kind of got me going. I was really interested in it, and I found it very satisfying to just write something with words that did something. Like it's very as Henry said, it feels very powerful. You can kind of just write this list of commands out, and you can kind of bring something to life. It's awesome. But I didn't. It was always in the back of my mind after that. I enjoyed it, but my path then was I wanted to pursue music. So I did that for many years after that. I traveled everywhere doing it as well, and it was great. But I kind of reached a point where I didn't want to do it as a job. I knew that's like music. I enjoy it very much as a hobby, but I didn't want it, to be my career. But yeah, I thought this is really good, especially because it's such a bustling, buzzing industry. There was just like too many plus sides to going into programming, because there's a massive demand. It's incredibly flexible. It's like, you know, jobs of the future, and I enjoyed it, which is the biggest thing for me. It's hard for me to be motivated unless I really enjoy something. So I kind of dove in with it. I tried to teach myself, which is what I'd massively recommend a bootcamp or a course like this, because it is so hard to teach yourself. There's all these courses out there, like a free code camp I looked at, and a couple of other websites and things that tell you that you can be a programmer, and you can. I mean, and the developers that I knew told me that as well. But I think it's a lot easier to say that from the perspective of someone who's actually gone through education and learned this stuff, to say, oh yeah, you can just learn this, this, and this. But there's so many different frameworks, so many different courses, so many, like, everyone's saying this is the best thing to learn, this is the best thing to learn, all these different languages, and it's just too much to. Whereas you kind of feel like your head's going in different directions, and you don't know. There's no structure to learning. How do I get from A to B? And the hardest thing was plugging things together. Like, I could learn how to write an algorithm or something, or how to, like, you know, display a web page or something, but it was very bitty. It's like creating something that holistically works like an application from, you know, back end to front end, which is kind of the path that we're learning this stuff, was the hardest thing. And Google's great, but it's very different to having a person who can actually look at what you're doing and really pick apart, you know, maybe you're doing something wrong, maybe you're doing something right. And this is what a course like this offers: structure and people who can actually really be one-on-one with you and help you, you know, which is invaluable.
So yeah, definitely. So yeah, finally, I think you guys were saying you're currently just starting front end now. Do you know what you'll be doing this week? Is there anything you're looking forward to in particular?
Yeah, I guess making things look nice, you know, completing the you know, gaining a full understanding of how to make something from, you know, the whole thing,
That's sort
from
of
back end to front.
end.
Yeah. So back end was fun, and yeah, now the closer we get to this, the more you start to see, like, what I'm starting to think of project ideas now, because I'm thinking, oh, like, what can I do with this stuff that we've learned? You know, like, I'm looking forward to React, because it's like this. It's very, very current and very exciting modern way of you know, displaying web pages and stuff, and very dynamic, and interested to learn. I'm excited to learn that.
We've both made static web pages before, but we haven't really made ones which have interactive functionality, animations, and cool fade-in effects and stuff. So being able to learn a bit of that's going to be really, really cool.
Because as I was saying before, like HTML, the static web pages, it's all very. I'm not really a big fan of it, because it's kind of boring. It's just positioning things and making things certain colors and this, that, and the other. But after this morning's lecture, it looks like there's going to be a lot of actual programming in it. So a lot of algorithmic stuff that's going to make the website do things that it's pretty cool. So I'm excited about that, because it's kind of got me going. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great to hear, guys. Well, yeah, Henry, Mike, thanks for your time. And yeah, I look forward to seeing some of the projects you guys will be working on in the near future.
Cool. Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Thanks very much.